Our next guests are very funny writers and co-founders of Boom Chicago and the authors of Boom Chicago Presents the 30 Most Important Years in Dutch History. Please welcome to the show my very good friends, Andrew Moskos and Pep Rosenfeld, everybody. Show, guys. I'm so happy to have you here.
That makes three of us.
This was also much like Paul Giamatti. You were going to schedule to come out during the writer's strike, and then it didn't work out. We figured it would never happen again because you live in Amsterdam. But then, you know, nothing's going on at Thanksgiving in Amsterdam. They don't celebrate this wonderful holiday.
Not at all.
So you made it over here, guys.
Oh, so great. I got to say, we were psyched in May, and then as book authors who, you know, don't mind selling books.
Yeah.
It's kind of nice to be on the show 2 days before, you know, Black Friday.
That's true. Yeah. It's a very good time to buy books.
We call it Book Friday.
Book Friday.
Book Friday.
You guys coined that? Well done. So I know the story, and it's one of my favorites to tell because I think people are always taken aback when I say that right after college, I went to Amsterdam to work for a comedy theater. I, of course, would not have done this if 3 years earlier the two of you hadn't started a comedy theater in Amsterdam. Was this idea, how was it greeted in Amsterdam when you first had it?
Well, we wrote the tourism board and said, we've got this great idea. What if we moved here and started a comedy show? And they wrote us back and said, your idea will not work.
and to clarify, they didn't write us back. It was 1993. They faxed us back.
They faxed you.
Yeah.
Now, I should note, this is, for those who don't know, this is how Dutch people to this day will speak, right? Very, very to the point, very honest.
Absolutely. They were so specific, too. They said, Dutch people do not want to see a show in English. Tourists do not want to see a show at all. You need subsidy to do theater in the Netherlands. You will not get any subsidy. Think twice about your plans.
And now, why didn't you guys bail when they told you that?
Because Andrew doesn't bail on anything. Right. I was like, Andrew, the word is in. No comedy show this year. Back to my table waiting job.
And you stuck it out. And pretty quickly, it started to work.
Yeah, kind of from the beginning.
Yeah, we thought that we would like get tourists right away, but very quickly, Dutch people really sort of embraced us. And I believe you would be the first to say Dutch people not known for their warm embrace.
Not for their. I mean, my favorite story is coming off stage and going to the bar because there was a bar in the theater. And this is how honest Dutch people are, because they're not necessarily unfriendly, they're just honest. And a guy came up and said, I saw the show, I'd like to buy you a drink. I'm like, oh, thanks, did you enjoy it? No, I did not.
They don't want to give it to you.
They don't want to give it up.
They don't give it for free, no.
Yeah.
It's like the audiences are even different. You know, an American audience, you ask them to make some noise, and they will. I mean, like, late night audience, you having a good time? Make some noise! That's an American audience. Dutch people are like, tell me why I should make some noise.
This noise you're requesting, what do I get out of it?
Exactly.
So you created this, and I should note, the two of you came up with this idea. And how stoned were you when you had the idea the first time?
So we have a third partner, Saskia Maas, who has insisted we not mention the fact that we came up with the idea when we were high.
Okay, great.
And that we should not say that it was the best stoner idea ever.
Right.
Because we're now middle-aged people and we should be more sophisticated.
Yes, and you have children.
Yeah,
and the
we have
last
children.
thing you want is for children to hear your best idea you ever had was when you were stoned.
I guess I want my children to know that if they're stoned, they should also have a pen and paper on them at all times.
Oh, interesting. So that's your takeaway from this, is write it down.
Don't miss it. Don't miss it.
Saskia is really the third leg of this tripod. She's backstage. She's also your wife now, but she wasn't in the beginning. But she really, it doesn't work without a Dutch person.
Everyone needs a Saskia.
Yeah.
I mean, Saskia's the perfect person. Like, she loves doing bits. She, you know, she loves doing bits and laughing more than anyone. She's also very Dutch in her ability to no nonsense. Okay, boys, it is time to stop and work now.
Yeah.
And then it is time to stop and work.
Well, it certainly worked. And again, all these people have come through the theater, been incredibly successful. The team behind Ted Lasso, among others. Brendan, our dear friend Brendan Hunt from Ted Lasso, Coach Beard was on the show recently, and you noticed a comment on his YouTube video.
Yeah, I was reading your comments here, and I saw that one of your viewers had noticed that you had so many people.
I have a lot of alums from Boom Chicago, and someone wrote, I think Seth is going to keep doing the show until he can introduce every single person he met in Amsterdam.
and I'm pretty sure the fact that Andrew and I are sitting here right now means you have totally run out of famous friends. Right?
Exactly. We are 11 and 12. We are the top of the C list.
We are finally done.
We're the bottom of the B list. Bottom of the B list.
Bottom of the V list.
You do have some of the listeners on the front of the book. There's a beautiful book cover. Can you guys explain what you were trying to do here?
Well, we put some of our famous people on the cover with Jordan Peele and Jason and Amber, of course, and Brendan. We went with sort of more of a traditional, accurate drawing. With you, we went a different direction.
Yeah, what is that face?
That's the person who could be Seth Meyers.
Well, can we zoom in on how that's very strange. It's like I'm literally making a face like, I'm on a book?
Yeah, well, thanks also you wrote the foreword and Jordan Peele wrote the backward, so we're
yeah, the great Jordan Peele. Jordan, I remember when Jordan was there, and Pep, this was a sketch you were in as well. One of my favorite sketches, it was during the mad cow panic in Europe.
Yeah.
And was Jordan's idea to play a mad cow like this?
I can't remember.
I think Jordan. I don't know if it was his idea, but I'll say this: he nailed Mad Cow. He nailed it.
Yeah.
He basically,
Those Oscar-
you guys remember those? We used to have backstage all these just like wigs and props and those Viking helmets that have two horns coming up. And Jordan Peele, who obviously is now an incredible director and writer, he always knew how subtle a thing would make. He realized my mad cow, he just turned one of the horns down. And every time he walked on stage, people were like, there it is. Yeah.
I hope you can tell. I hope you can tell that me there on the left. My acting. I was a sane cow.
You were a sane cow who's very angry about.
Yeah, I was a little angry at his
Yeah.
madness.
Yeah.
And just and for any jackals watching,
Okay.
bovine jackals, I was a sane bull.
Sane bull. Okay, thank you very much for clarifying.
Spare you the work.
All right, Amazon rankings, very important for a book.
Yes.
Do you want to explain? You are #1 in a category that maybe you would never have hoped or dreamed to be.
Yeah, well, so it's great to be on the Amazon charts, of
Yeah,
course,
yes.
right? Authors, it's very important. We are #1 on the Belgian history list.
Yeah.
And let me,
Yeah. Now,
Belgium in the house.
how much Belgian history is in the book?
On a scale from 0 to 10, I would say 0.
Yeah.
There's not a word.
It's funny. Dutch people sometimes say Belgians aren't the smartest people, but the Belgians made us #1 in Belgian history, so don't do Holland's job for them.
Yeah. It's very funny. That just speaks to how few books are being written about Belgian history.
And we did not add to the list.
There you go. You did not do it at all. I also want to talk about a time you guys were here before. You were in the audience. It's not your first time at the show. You came, you sat in the audience.
First show.
First show.
Yeah.
You guys came out, which is very important to me. And cut to you guys in the audience. My brother was here. His fiance was here. And you all seem so happy to be on camera, except for you, Pep.
Yeah. So when I come out to the States, my sister and my mother, happy birthday, Stacy, by the way. It's super important to them that like I visit them. I can't just go to New York and go home. So this was a stealth mission, right?
Yeah.
I come in, I see the show, shake your hand, back home, nobody has to know. And then during your monologue, during your monologue, you did the sweetest thing. You were like, I've got family and friends in the audience, and you put the camera on us, and I mean,
Everybody's so happy, except check out Pep.
that is the face of a dude thinking, I am so busted.
Yeah.
And I totally was. I
Yeah,
totally
you're
was.
like, I'm gonna call the airport and stay a couple more days. You guys, these are some other early photos. Here's Jordan. Here's our friend Brendan Hunt. Here's my brother, looking very suave.
Always suave.
Show me the picture where Josh does not look suave.
Josh looks suave all the time. Now, I'm going to show you this because I know you like to mock this photo. This is the poster for the two-person show. I should know, this is the two-person show where I got hired for SNL with the great Joe
Great show.
Benjamin.
It's a great show.
Pickups and hiccups. And go ahead, do your worst.
Look, I like that you had your dramatic James Dean face.
Yeah.
That's all. That's all.
I tried James Dean face, and they were like, that's not a James Dean nose, sir.
Yeah. Lovely Joe Benjamin nailed it,
Yes.
and you get the full attitude.
Right. Don't look at me. I'm dramatique.
This is, you were on a show, our friend Arjen
Lubach, yeah.
Arjen Lubach, who's
Yeah.
here.
Yeah.
He has a very novel idea that you noticed he did when you did his Dutch talk show.
Yeah, this is something that you might
here's
learn
Arjen.
from. After the show, everyone wants to take a picture with Arjen, but he's a big star. He does the show 4 nights a week, and someone on his team had an idea to get a mascot. And this is like at a football game or at Disney World, and that someone from his team gets in the costume and goes out and shakes people's hands and takes photos after the show. So I was just saying, if Wally ever gets too big for his britches, get a Seth Meyers costume and send him out after the show.
Wally could dress up like Seth and get out there.
Yeah, he'd love that.
He would. Oh,
no lines.
He would
No
love it.
lines.
Although he doesn't like it when his face doesn't show. There was an episode of Ted Lasso that filmed in Amsterdam, which was, I thought, a nice homage to the fact that those guys, Joe Kelly, Jason Sudeikis, Brendan Hunt, all met out there. Was it so cool when a show that was born of these dudes who all met at your theater came out there and shot a whole episode? I mean, Amsterdam must have been so excited.
Amsterdam really was excited. It was like a big budget show, so it was big news. And they had the launch party at Boom Chicago afterwards. So we've got the IX people, the soccer team, the Brendan Hunt and Jason's were there, and the crew was there, and they were on stage with us afterwards. And we just had a big party, and everyone who was in the house would stay there too. It was like a low-key Dutch affair, but with the stars of Ted Lasso. It was so much fun.
But I think the funnest part was when Brendan was writing the episode, he would send us texts, say, what would a Dutch person say in this situation? What's Dutch for you're an idiot? Oh, well, here we go. And it was great to help.
It's really lovely. And one of the characters on the team was actually named after Saskia, correct?
Yes, Jan Maas, the Dutch person who's very direct, very Dutch, is inspired by CEO Saskia Maas.
It's a very nice homage for that as well. And this is very cool, and I'm very happy you guys are doing this. You were mentioning it's Book Friday.
Yep.
But everybody in the audience is leaving with this book.
Yep.
And that's how we roll. That's how we roll. And I should know, the Dutch part aside, this is an oral history, and your friend Matt Deal did a great job writing it. But this is a really cool time. For me, it was late '90s, and it was this incredible collection of people. And you guys built this incubator for talent, and none of us would have been where we were if it wasn't for you guys. So even though it's a really funny book about what it's like to start a theater in Amsterdam, it's a great book about the creative process and what can happen when you put cool people together. I'm always going to be in your debt for that. So thanks for being here, guys.
Oh, thank you, Seth.
Andrew Moss, Bev Roosevelt, everybody. Boom Chicago presents The 30 Most Important Years in Dutch History is available now wherever you buy your books. But please support